I think hi, hey guys, it's been a while. I know, like, I've gone AWOL for a while on YouTube, but a lot has been happening in my life. We'll get to that later, but firstly, thank you so much for all the love and support that's been pouring in for my work throughout this year. It's been overwhelming and it's been amazing. Absolutely grateful for it, and so I just want to give it back to the community, and I thought I'd do a tutorial on the text effects that you guys see on my videos, and I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag and let you guys in on almost all the text effects that I've used in my videos. And so here it goes. So for these text effects, primarily we're going to be dealing with the position, the timing, the scale, font face, as well as font outline. And with these five, you can literally make infinite number of text effects. So let's get into it. The first text effect is called Escalate, because, well, it escalates. Let's jump right in. We're going to be dealing with a couple of text layers. I'm just going to create a text layer here, Control T on the Mac to create a text layer, and I'm just going to duplicate them by pressing on Option and just dragging up. So here we have 4 text layers. I'm just going to click on the bottommost text layer and I'm going to increase its size, or rather I'll just select everything and just increase its size to 100px. I'm going to change the font to maybe let's say Product Sans. Yeah, so once I play through this, nothing happens because they're all in their own positions only. We haven't delved or played around with the positions as much. So let's just go ahead and move a couple of these text layers one above each other. So let's just bring the bottommost text layer little below here, the second text layer little above that, the third text layer right where it is, and the fourth text layer little above that as well. So what this is gonna do is, as time passes, it's gonna make sure that the text comes one above each other, giving it that escalation sort of an effect. So I'm just gonna bring in all of these text layers closer to each other. So you can give any gap that you want depending on how long or how slowly you want the steps to come up. So it's gonna look something like this, right? And this is cool, and this is literally a simple text effect that you can do in your videos. This is called Escalate, right? So yeah, after this particular, when you come here, the text, all of them go out by themselves. Now the second effect comes into picture, which is called De-Escalate, which is again similar to how you would want perhaps the text effect to vanish away. So for it to arrive, it may go up, and while vanishing, it can either go all off by itself in this way, or you can also extend the timers of each of these text titles in such a way that it goes one after another, that you see from the top it goes one after another, or you can reduce the timing of each of the text layers in such a way that it goes from bottom to top away. So the way it has come in, 1 2 3 4, and now the way it goes out, 4 3 2 1 there, right? So 1 2 3 4 again as it ends, 2 3 4, and it goes out. So this is escalate and de-escalate, where the text escalates and then slowly goes off, de-escalates, right? The next effect that we can get into, I'm just going to delete all of these text layers first, and we'll just slowly get into the next effect, which is called split. What we're going to deal with is for a particular text layer to split up and down, right? And this can be an effect to perhaps emphasize on a particular point in a video. Let's say you're talking about some features of a product, for example a phone, and the phone has a camera of 24 megapixels, so you can give it a text of say 24 megapixels, and then to give it more impact, perhaps you may split it and make sure that 24 is more visible and not just in one place. So how we're gonna do this is, again, we're just playing around with the positioning of the respective text layers. I'm just gonna duplicate a couple of more text layers. Let me just say duplicate 4 more, and here we have like 5 text layers here, and I'm just gonna play around with the timing a bit so that they appear a little after each other. So as I move, we can't see anything, there's no difference as such because we haven't played around with the position yet. Now I'm going to choose the second last layer and I'm going to position it a bit down, and the third last layer I'm going to position it a bit up. So Now what you see is you're seeing the middle text split up and down as well, right? And now for the fourth layer on top, I'm again gonna push it up, or maybe I'll just push this one down, and the topmost layer I'll push it on top of this. So now what you're gonna see is something like a split effect where the center text splits up and down as well, right? It's maybe a little too fast, so I'll just slow it down further. Yeah, I'll reduce the timing of the text so that they appear slowly to the naked eye. Yeah, so from the center it splits up, from the center it splits up, right? So this is also again a super easy way, or another text effect that you can do, and similar to the last effect where we had de-escalated it in a certain way, we can choose to either end all of these in one place. So let's just say it comes off to this particular part and it just goes off, it just ends, that's all. Or we could choose to reduce the length of it. So if we were to just play it around, it opens up like that and it closes up down like that as well. So for the next effect, we're basically going to be dealing with an effect which pops out and pops in. For this specific text effect, we'll be dealing with the size or the scale of the text, and I'm just going to name this text scale, just because I can't think of anything better right now. But yeah, so let me just duplicate a couple of these. So we have scale here, and we want scale to scale, right? So what we're going to deal with is, again, just play around with the timing a little bit. We're just going to move a couple of them ahead and gonna reduce the time so they appear a little later on the timeline. Yeah, so this seems to be fine for now. You can't see any change in them because they're all of the same size. They're all 100 pixels in size. So I'm going to select the second layer here. I'm going to increase its size to say 200. So it's going to scale. I'm going to center it. And this one I'm going to scale up to say 300, and I'm going to center that as well. And the fourth layer I'm going to make it 400, and I'm going to center that as well. And for the fifth layer I'm going to make it say 500, and I'm going to center this as well. So what this is going to give an impression of, one second, I will just reduce these timers so they come off gradually, so that both of them don't come off at one point. So once I press play, it gives off the scale effect, right? And the same goes in the rest, the de-escalation aspect of it, or the closing aspect of it. You can choose to either close it together, or you can choose to again use the same funda that we used before, which was like either extending it or decreasing the timers so that they disappear in like one after the other in either a pop in sort of manner, such that it pops in and it pops out like that, or it pops in and gives you a push effect, which is if you reduce the timers in such a way that the bottommost or the most innermost ends first, then the outermost, it'll look like as in it's going from the innermost to the outermost, and it'll push it out. So if we were to press play here, it's gonna look something like that, so that it comes out and then immediately it pushes it out. So this is again the pop text effect that you see. And now let's go to a little bit of playing around with the font face and the font outline. So in your text inspector, which is where you change the name of your text, or you play around with the size, rotation, etc., you will find a place which is called face and outline. What face is the font face, which is the font filled with its solid color. And if you click on show here, you can see more options that you'd want to fill it with. Do you want to reduce the opacity, maybe change the color of it to something, say, a bit orange in nature, right? And there is also something called outline. So it is basically the outline around this text. So if I were to remove the face, now you would see the outline here. The outline for this is given red in color. We can choose to change that to something, say, a bit more snowy or white rather. So yeah, so with the face, without the outline, it's just a solid color. Without anything is nothing, and with the respective outline, it's just the outline. So now how can we play around with this, right? So we can choose to expand our text layer, and we can choose to cut it using the blade tool in certain areas, such that we can play around with these face as well as the outline values of it, right? So for the first one, we can keep an outline of on, and for the second respective text layer, we can keep an face of off and the outline of face of on and the outline of off. And we can do it vice versa. So for the alternate one, I'd again repeat face on and outline off. So this would basically look something like this, right? It gives you that blinking sort of effect. And this you can couple with the different other effects that you've seen. For example, if I were to couple it with de-escalate or escalate rather, I would just simply put it one on top of each other, and then I'll be going ahead and adjusting the positions of these elements as well. So let's just slowly, I'll just play around with the position. So at this point of time, this is the bottommost layer, let it be as is. The second layer, I'll just play around with the position there. This is an effect that you'd see like something that can look like this, and it can maybe end in whatever way you want. You don't have to necessarily follow what I'm doing, and you can perhaps change the timers of it at different locations for the different layers that are there to give a very different effect, so that it ends in a different way, right? So yeah, this was the font outline and font face effects. You can couple all of these effects together. You can even go to the extent of maybe cutting them within and making them say disabling them. So if I were to press V here, it would disable these, I'd enable that layer, I'd disable this layer, and once I were to press that, it would give a very blinking sort of a different effect where it's scaling, escalating, de-escalating, compressing, decompressing in itself. And these are pretty cool effects that you can come up with by yourself. So I hope you guys learned a lot, and well, I hope to see you guys use these in your videos. Tag me, let me know that you've learned from here or learned from anywhere and then done your own work, or you could even repeat all of these just to practice and put it up and tag me, and it'd be amazing. And I'm really looking forward to all of your work. And well, that's about it. Thank you guys, take care, bye bye.